As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
It can be difficult at times. It can be, you get caught up in the moment. You want to know what's happening. And whenever you're famous, I'm guessing like Baker Mayfield, you want to see what people are saying about you. But Baker has said, Gabe, he's done with social media. He's stepping away. He's getting to the grind. He's putting his head down. He's going to work this off season. He's done dealing with all the distraction. It's time to move forward. I love it. I think it's awesome. And hopefully he gets his wife to get off social media too.
That can be tricky. That can be tricky.
Right.
Now, I feel like this is your dream. Like this is what you want your life to be like. You would live without a phone if you could, like if you didn't need it for work. So I feel like part of you just made Baker your winner of the week because you're a little jealous that he can do this.
Yep. I'm living vicariously through Baker right now for being able to log off. I think it's awesome. I think it's great. Think it's fantastic. I think it's going to do him a lot of good, even though for a lot of his career, he's been really good at, using some of that stuff as fuel, and to really motivate him and drive him. And I'm sure in one way or another, he's still going to do that. There's plenty of it out there for him, but I think it's going to be smart for him to step aside. Nothing really good out there. It's not going to do him any good to be, commenting and chiming in on social media.
Like the list that he keeps of people that have said bad stuff about him. Does he like have a ceremonial burning of the list? Like, is he just a new person, or does I feel like that chip on the shoulder he's got is so big it can't go away. Like, no, yeah, that would change like the complexion of who he is. Can't have that happening.
He's logging off of social media. My guess is he's going to generate his anger from print media. He'll be picking up the I don't know, what's the Cleveland Plain what's their
Yeah, I think you're right. Cleveland Plain Dealer?
Yeah, I think
Plains
that's
Dealer, something like that.
Yeah, he was probably going to be the only person on the block walking outside to pick up the newspaper every day.
He's just going to be on the cover, like, oh, here we go again.
That's right.
All I ask.
He's going to be laminating newspaper prints.
He may be going dark on social media. All I ask is that he keeps doing the progressive commercials because he's fantastic. I will.
He is really good.
You can say whatever you want about the man's play. You can't. No one. I will not accept any Baker Mayfield acting slander. He's spectacular in those commercials.
Nope, I agree. I think they're smart. They're funny. I love them a lot.
All right. Who do you have as your loser of the week?
This has been a point of frustration for a long time for me. And I guess maybe it's over. I don't know, but the Baseball Hall of Fame not putting in Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, I think it's an absolute joke. Maybe I'm wasting too much time and energy caring about it because ultimately, like, the Baseball Hall of Fame is so far down on the list for me, but I just think it's so weird that Hall of Fame voters or MVP voters or, like, I don't know, AP top 25 poll voters use those votes as some type of, like, ability to have some moral condemnation of other people. I don't know. It's so frustrating to me that Barry Bonds, he's the greatest hitter in Major League Baseball history, and there's no doubt. I understand the steroid era. I get it. I mean, but he deserves to be in the Hall. I don't know. It's just weird that the all-time home run leader is not in the Hall of Fame. It seems ridiculous to me.
His numbers are ridiculous. I mean, they're absurd. And a lot of people think he's the best baseball player ever.
Yeah.
And I think they're there are a couple reasons why he's not in. And I agree with you. I think Barry Bonds should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame because it is a museum of the history of baseball. And the guy that arguably is the best player ever isn't in it. Like
It's not like by not putting him in the Hall of Fame, like you're shielding the youth or the world of what happened during that era, right? Anyone with any type of access to any information at all knows what happens during that era. You don't need to shield people from that. You need to tell the story.
I the hypocrisy of the whole thing is what annoys me the most, right? We all watched when we used to watch baseball because Barry Bonds was awesome and we actually watched because of him. Like the writers that are not voting him in, I mean, how many articles did they write about Barry Bonds? You know what I mean? Like how many of them got new contracts or like got promoted because they wrote about him? And now he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Right. And they're holding it against him. And, you know, everyone kind of knew what was going on at the time and chose to ignore it, right? Major League Baseball wasn't testing for it. When you're not testing for it, guess what? Everyone's going to push the limits. And I don't know. I think it's strange, especially whenever the lone guy that gets in this year, David Ortiz, was suspended for PED use, right? So
yeah, but the whole thing when he got suspended, like a big group of guys tested positive for they didn't really know what, and then they said it was inconclusive, and then, so I'm glad Big Papi got in because he deserves to be in. A lot of people, a lot of Red Sox fans consider him the most important Red Sox player ever, right? With kind of the culture change and breaking the curse and everything that he did, winning those titles. So I'll say this. I think the most obvious reason why, and this is one of those things, remember, nerdy baseball writers are the ones voting for this. David Ortiz is a super nice guy. Super nice guy. And Barry Bonds was a huge asshole. Mm-hmm. And there is a large part of me that thinks Barry Bonds being a huge asshole it might be the reason he's not going into the Hall of Fame. Like, yes, the steroids and all that stuff, but I think people at the end of the day, they went, I didn't like that guy. I'm not putting him in.
We saw a writer this year openly say that he will not vote for Aaron Rodgers as the MVP because he thinks he's a jerk. So it's been openly admitted that there's that type of bias out there. My question is, if Barry Bonds would have tested positive for steroids and served some type of suspension, then at that point, would it have been okay to vote him in?
I don't know, but Ortiz is in first ballot.
I know. I don't know. It's so weird. It's weird.
By the way, baseball's still in a lockout. And it doesn't seem like there's any progress being made. Crazy. That's the most we've ever talked about baseball in this podcast. And it's us getting mad at them. So, yeah, you're crushing it. You're crushing it, Major League Baseball.
Good job, baseball.
Hopefully the Hall of Fame's Today's Game Era Committee, which is the longest name of a committee in human history, can get Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds and those guys in eventually. All right. If you're a whiskey or bourbon drinker, stop what you're doing, head to your favorite liquor store and buy some Balcones products. You got to grab some of Balcones Lineage Single Malt Whiskey. It was just voted one of the top 20 whiskeys in the world by Whiskey Advocate, and you'll be shocked by how affordable it is. Also, you got to snag some of Balcones Baby Blue Corn Whiskey.
It's made from blue corn. That's the fancy corn.
And that is why it has won more than 25 awards. Last but certainly not least, you got to buy some of Balcones pot stilled bourbon. Its big flavors make it the perfect bourbon to drink year round. In 2012, Balcones single malt won the best in glass competition, beating brands like Johnny Walker and Macallan, became the first American distillery to win the competition. This stuff is the real deal, people. If you love great whiskey and bourbon at a great price, then Balcones products are the only way to go. The whiskey may be made in Texas, but the owners, they are from Oklahoma. To find a liquor store that has it, visit balconesdistilling.com.
First Fidelity Bank is a
Hey,
full.
one second. People keep saying they want more Teddy ad reads. By God, we're giving them to you. We're splitting these 50-50 now, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs. Checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all, whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone. Everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. First Fidelity Bank also provides free ATMs worldwide, making banking convenient wherever you are. They also give back to the community. FFB donates a total of more than $500,000 to local charities and educational foundations. Make your life easier and go bank at First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information.
Okay, for my winner of the week, thought about going with Oklahoma State. First of all, the fact that AJ Ferrari is alive is a win in itself.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the picture of that car it's unreal. And he made a bad decision, no doubt, trying to pass all those cars. But man, I'm just glad those young men are all right, because I'm glad the passenger he hit is okay. The fact that Casey Dunn just happened to be there to help, like pull him out of the car. I guess the car was on fire. Like,
jeez, that's
just
nuts.
I'm just glad everyone's all right. Like, it's insane, man. I mean, just seeing those pictures and like when the details weren't quite out yet, and you're just like, oh, he's being meta-flighted to Oklahoma City. You're like, oh no, this is bad. And then maybe the craziest thing is the guy's fine. Like, he's completely fine.
Yeah,
Unreal.
that's crazy. Unreal. He's lucky that he wasn't seriously hurt or killed. He's lucky that no one else was seriously hurt or killed. Like, that is a super dangerous situation. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad everyone there was okay.
And also, OSU made the Derek Mason hiring.
Big time.
New defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Man,
that's big.
That's big. Very big. But my winner of the week, Bengals, Chiefs, 49ers, Rams, because they're preparing for conference championship games, and this is the way we preview them. Bengals at Chiefs. Chiefs is 7-point favorite. Maybe the most important thing in this game is I will be in the house at Arrowhead for the AFC championship game.
Are you hanging out in the suite with Jackson Mahomes and Brittany?
I will be hanging out with the entire Bell clan. We are rolling deep, and I do mean so deep to this game. So I'm pumped to go watch Blake Bell play in another AFC championship game. So I'm very excited, but it's pretty simple for me. I just don't think there's any way in hell that the Bengals are going to go to Arrowhead and win this game. I know Joe Burrow. He's right. He's played in some loud environments in the SEC. I know the Bengals beat the Chiefs back in week 17. I know. But we saw the Titans assault Joe Burrow last weekend. And I don't see why the Chiefs won't just line Chris Jones and Frank Clark up over the right side of that offensive line and let them go to work. I just don't think that Joe Burrow, and I love Jamar Chase, and I think he's fantastic. And I think Joe Mixon in that running game, maybe they can find some more success in this game. And I actually think Mixon could be a big weapon catching the ball out of the backfield in this one. But Mahomes, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, the Belldozer, let him run speed option again. Give him another chance, Andy Reid. Come on. All the momentum from that insane win over the Bills. I just don't think the Bengals will be able to keep pace. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I I've liked watching Cincinnati. That's been a fun group. I like Joe Burrow. I think he's a great quarterback. I think that offense is awesome. I think it's cool. Zach Taylor's is the head coach of that team and what they've done. Really, really good stuff. But I believe this is the end of the road. Now they're capable you know to go out there and put up some big numbers offensively, and you never know what's going to happen, right? If you would have told me last week that the 49ers were going to go into Green Bay, not score an offensive touchdown, and win that football game, I would have told you you're insane. So anything can happen. That's why we watch it. And I do think it's going to be a really good game, but I think Kansas City is just too good. I think they're too experienced in these type of situations and these type of games. And I think Joe Burrow has been awesome since that 2019 run he had in college football. He's done the right things. He's made the right plays. He's said the right things up until he said that he's played in louder stadiums in the SEC or whatever his wording of that phrase was. That was not a good move.
Not not a wise decision. It's
No.
going to be loud. Now it's going to be loud anyways, right? It's the AFC Championship game. But yeah, when you walk out of Arrowhead, like when you're playing there as the visiting team, you walk out of that tunnel and they've got that little thing on the wall right before you come out. It's like you're entering the loudest stadium in the world, and it's got like the decibel level number, and you're like, oh, it's like psychological warfare right before you take the field.
Yep. Yep. No, I do think it's going to be a good game, and you never know what happens. I think that's clear, but yeah, I think Kansas City gets it done.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, 49ers at the Rams. Rams are favored by 3.5. Interesting hook there. We'll see how the crowd is divided for this game. I know there are some concerns that the 49ers fans could take over SoFi Stadium for this one,
I
but
guess Stafford's wife is buying a bunch of tickets for the fans, right?
doing whatever they can. Yeah, whatever they can to make sure that the 49ers fans don't take this thing over. And 49ers, man, they've had the Rams number, right? Beat them 6 times in a row. And even though that's the case, like somehow it still feels like the pressure is all on the Rams right
Yep.
here. And maybe it's because they've gone all in on this season. Now, I don't think the Rams run defense particularly has been tested in the playoffs the way it will be tested by the 49ers. I certainly am concerned about all the guys that are banged up for the 49ers, right? With Kittle, Trent Williams, Debo Samuel, like all these guys, all their best players are playing borderline injured. They're definitely hurt, but they might be injured. And ultimately with this game, I just think Jimmy Garoppolo, he's going to make the crippling mistake in this game, and that'll be the difference. I think Stafford knows what this means for his legacy, and I do think him having Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham, I think those guys are going to rise to the occasion to make some plays against that 49ers secondary. So I'm going to take the Rams to win it at home, even though maybe it ends up feeling like a road game.
Yeah.
And remember, if they win this one, they host the Super Bowl. So I'm going to take the Rams in this one.
I think the Rams are the more well-rounded football team. Um, Offensively, tons of star power. Defensively, obviously, tons of star power. Coached really well. I think a lot of things favor them in this game, but I think the biggest factor is the health of Trent Williams and Debo Samuel. If I'm factoring in that those guys are not going to be 100%, and I'm taking the Rams. But if you could tell me that Trent Williams will be able to play at or near 100%, and Debo Samuel will be able to play at or near 100%, I'm taking the 49ers. I think the run game, I think the fact of how they are limited in some areas makes them be a little bit more creative ends up being an asset for them and makes them a little bit harder to defend. I think their defense is super, super solid. Just look at what they did against Aaron Rodgers in that Green Bay offense. That is fantastic. They did excellent. I think if those guys are healthy, it's the 49ers. But the thing is, I don't think they're going to be 100%. So maybe people are going to clown me for saying I'm hedging, but I think that's a massive factor in the football game. You know, Trent Williams is the best left tackle in all of football. So, and Deebo Samuel's one of the more explosive offensive guys that you can use in multiple ways. So, if those guys are healthy, I'm taking the Niners, but I don't think they will be.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And yeah, the Niners have beaten the Rams 6 times in a row, but I eventually you gotta break the streak, right?
Yeah.
That's stupid reasoning, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. All right, for my loser of the week, you took mine. I was gonna do baseball,
Well,
but
that means we agree that they're total losers.
yeah, I mean they're in a lockout and they've got everyone pissed at them about that, and even more pissed at them about something else. Like, yeah, way to go, Major League Baseball! You guys are killing it. So I always come prepared with backups just in case this situation arises. Thought about going with the New Orleans Saints. Bad cap situation. Not a great cap situation. Now they can cut guys, and I think that stuff gets blown out of proportion. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. But Sean Payton stepping away. I mean, guy, what, 16 years, 17 years?
It's been a long time. Nice
been a
run.
long time. He's been great and just kind of out of nowhere stepping away. So that's probably alarming for Saints fans because they're probably looking at the situation, the roster, the quarterback situation. Sean Payton's like, yeah, maybe I'll do TV for a couple years. I'm good, guys.
Yeah, you went from having one of the most consistent coach and quarterback combos in all of football for a long time to all of a sudden not having either one of them and just being like, oh, dang.
Yeah. And Sean Payton, I was only there for what, like 6 weeks or whatever it was. Incredibly detailed, awesome coach. Also wears ripped jeans, which just did not see that coming. Didn't see it coming at all. But I also thought about going with the Big Ten. Serious discussions right now about eliminating the divisions in the Big Ten, which I think people like, right? And because that conference has felt unbalanced for a while, right? With the Big Ten East just really dominating things. But then they come out, and of course, the Big Ten, they announce one thing. You're like, oh, that's good. That'll be awesome. Then they have to tack something on. They have to outsmart themselves. And they're like, yeah, but we're also talking about dropping to 8 conference games starting in 2023 so we can schedule games against our pals in the Alliance, the Pac-12 and the ACC. Like, why would they do that? I don't understand it at all. Don't do that.
I know why they're doing it. They're doing it just almost the same reason as the SEC is doing it, except they've taken it a step further and they're dropping the divisions. It's so they can give their best teams easy schedules to where they can coast to having an opportunity to make the playoff.
Yeah, you're probably right. But
yep.
It'll be funny, like if a divisionless big team is playing 8 conference games and like the super SEC is playing 10. Everyone's gonna be like, wait, what? What are we doing?
Yeah. I don't know. That's my guess. That's why I think they're doing it, is because
why are they helping the ACC and the Pac-12? Like it doesn't, like they don't need that's the most confusing thing to me.
Right. They've got the Alliance, and who was it that just scheduled a non-conference game that we were told that it wasn't going to happen anymore? Was someone was it Tennessee? Maybe in the SEC.
Yeah, you're going to schedule SEC schools because it's awesome.
Yeah. No, there was a Pac-12 and SEC game that was just announced. Yeah, it's dumb. I think it's so they can try and give their better teams an easier opportunity to make it through the tough schedule.
We'll see.